Okay, so this video is about quick self-testing tools. So a lot of times when we're talking about the other side of this learning cycle, we are talking about quizzing, but a lot of times students are like, what does that even look like? Because we don't talk about that in school. So I'm going to show you some really quick ways you can take stuff that you already have and make stuff quizzable. So this is probably one of the easiest. So say you have a worksheet from a teacher. So you can use a piece of paper to just cover up what you're doing. So say you have this and you can test yourself. Or you can go down here and you can cover it up and then pull it down. So it's sort of like a really easy way to make flashcards that isn't time consuming at all. Because all you had to do is fold over a piece of paper and you already have this. You want to make sure this has the correct answers on it so you're not studying, stuff that's wrong. But this is a very easy way of doing this, and you already have a worksheet, so this takes a matter of seconds to do. Another example is you can take that same worksheet and you can photocopy it. Don't do this to your original, especially if you're going to need it because you need the answers. So photocopy this if you can, or take a photo and print it off. And then I just took a Sharpie and I blacked out all of the answers, and then you can take your original and you can compare and contrast. This works better if you really can't do a paper to cover, like say it's too busy or there's stuff in the margins and it's hard to do really to quiz yourself because it would just be easy to see part of the answer. So this is the solution. And a little bit fancier of a solution is this is a set, and I'll put the link in Amazon. It has a red and green film, and this has a red and green marker. And you can put these markers onto a worksheet and you can still see through it. So it's kind of like a Sharpie, but you can still see through it. So if you look closely, like on the red up there, you can still see what you wrote. And it's upside down. Okay, so you can still see what you wrote. But if you use the opposite color film to the pen, you can't see it anymore. So it's almost like using a Sharpie, but you don't have to really commit, or if you don't have a photocopier. And this is just a nice way. And there's one, you can also use different colors to break up different parts. So you look here, you can still see the red, but you can't see the green through the red film. So it's a really nice way of being able to make something quizzable that's really fast and kind of fun. Like these colors are really fun, and using like little template or little film things, they're really fun too. And you can also erase, but because it's a chemical reaction, you can only erase one time. Like it won't erase and then you can't really put the color back on it, but you can erase. So say you're like, oh, I do actually have to turn that back in. But I think if your teacher saw this, they'd probably also be pretty interested in what you were doing. But ideally you would photocopy it or do it on something you don't have to turn back in. And another option is, if you get especially a study guide, is to take the blank study guide and copy it, or at least take photos of it, so that you can then use that as another way of quizzing yourself. So you don't have to block stuff out because you have blank copies. And then you can have your sheet that you have completed, and you can have a blank copy in which to re-quiz yourself. So these are all really fast ways to make stuff quizzable that doesn't add a lot of time to your schedule, because you get the benefits of quizzing without the time constraints and commitments of making something completely original. So use what we have. That's always my philosophy.